Hello everyone and welcome to another video review by Centipede Geek. Today I'm going to discuss my thoughts and opinions upon a WGN America television series by the name of Salem. I'm going to talk about episode 5 titled Lies. Just so you guys know, there will be major spoilers coming up later on in the review, but for right now, let's just talk about the plot synopsis, right? In this episode, I forget the little girl's name, but a little girl teenager, her dad is the Catholic, that cut the snake out of her. She has pretty much decided, her and her friends decided that, hey, we have power, everyone thinks that, the witches have control over you, which means you have power, which means that you can get what you want. So that's pretty much the main plot of this episode. They actually use her, the teenagers and her, use her character to actually go after one of the characters' fathers because they don't want, their father wants to sell them, I believe, as a prostitute or something like that. Anyways, they want to sell them in some capacity, and they use her to point out that he's a witch, even though he's not. So they're using it sort of as a power mechanism, right? That's pretty much the main plot of this episode. And then obviously we have, the character of John Alden doing his thing, the Reverend, building on their characters. That's the main plot of episode 5, titled Lies, for the WGN America television series with the name of Salem. Overall, I love this episode. Salem, the WGN America television series, is one of those kind of slow build series, similar to series like Hannibal. Now, I don't mean the series is anything like Hannibal in any capacity, because it's not. Hannibal is more about the sort of, characters, the relationships and stuff like that. Salem about the characters too and stuff, but Salem is mainly about the witches. But I say that because they're both sort of slow series, and Salem is sort of the same way, where things are happening at sort of a slow rate, but it's still, though things are happening at a very slow rate, it's still a very entertaining show to watch also. This is probably my favorite episode, and the reason I say that, major spoilers coming up, is because of the thing that happens at the very end. I like the relationship between Miss Sibley's character, I believe Mary Sibley, I believe is her name, Miss Sibley's character and her character of John Alden. They end up kissing, you have the whole, subplot of the romance, her not knowing she's a witch, so they end up, sort of almost getting together again, the first time since, the first episode, that flashback scene, between those two. So that was really cool. I like that scene between those two. He's, almost, it's going to be really interesting seeing the plot points later on where he finally finds out, what she is, what she's doing. So that's just really cool stuff. I like that scene at the end, between those two characters, just for some really cool stuff. As always, the Reverend, I like John Alden's character, I like Miss Sibley. Those are probably my two favorite second characters, but my favorite character in the WGN America television series with the name of Salem is the Reverend character. I forget the guy's name, but I just call him the Reverend because, he is a pastor, a priest, or whatever you want to call him. The Reverend is a very cool character. I like the way he's developed. I like how he just feels like everything he does is justified. He feels like God has ordained him. He feels as if God has, justified him, given him this power to do as he pleases with the town of Salem, Massachusetts. And overall, I like that Reverend's character quite a bit. He's just kind of a cool, character. He does some iffy things, having sex, being an alcoholic. So he's not the most, I guess you could say, not the most godly or, godly ordained Reverend, but he's definitely the most interesting character, I think. He's just a really cool guy. Once again, Salem is one of those slow-building series, always giving us some creepy imagery, and the creepy imagery we have in this particular episode of Salem, the WGN America television series, the particular episode, this particular scene is towards, I believe it happens roughly in the, in the middle of the episode, and that is, or I believe it happens actually in the, toward the middle, and we have the scene of the boils. That actually happens at the beginning, excuse me. Towards the beginning, where you have the scene, they have this whole artifact, kind of another plot. We have this artifact, and he touches, John Alden's character touches it, and he's giving these visions of these boils and these rashes appearing on the people of Salem, witch's curse, or whatever you want to call it. So, once again, some nice, creepy imagery. The witches, the practical effects of the witches always look great. They, they're sort of, they live on the outskirts of town. They have power over some of the, a few of the girls, and over that, that dirty, guy, the guy with the hat on, the dirty, the guy that's dirty, not actually physically dirty, but, mentally, he just, anyways. But I like, those creepy imagery is just always really cool. I like, that's one of the great things about Salem. We have a slow building series with some great creepy imagery that really makes it a nice sort of horror show to watch with a great TVMA rating where it doesn't have to hold anything back, right? That's my review of the WGN America television series by the name of Salem for episode 5 titled Lies. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to my page below, and I'll see you guys later with more videos.